Social Security may look drastically different in the next few decades, especially since the Social Security Administration's 2019 Trustees Report estimates the funds will be depleted in 2035 based on the current way it operates. That means that it will have no cash reserves and will only be able to pay out what it makes on an annual basis. The 2035 date is 1 year later than the previous estimates, but some financial analysts predict the reserves could run out even sooner. Social Security is a pay-as-you-go program. Earlier generations relied on decades of contributions from the huge baby boomer generation, which provided year after year of surpluses to the Social Security trust funds. Now, as the boomers retire, younger generations make up smaller percentages of the workforce than in the past, and they are creating a shortfall in the funding. So what's all this saying? All this is saying is that those who are working today are funding those who are retiring, which are the baby boomer generation, right? And if there are not enough people to fund that baby boomer generation, then the funds are likely to be depleted at some point, and they're estimating 2035. We'll see by 2035, I'll only be 40 years old, and if I'm 40 years old, I will not have gotten to the point where I can actually receive Social Security, and that takes away from the fact that I could receive said benefit. Now, if I know one thing about politicians, I also know that Social Security is a hot topic for them, and getting rid of it on either side is almost out of the question. So the fact that that is the case leaves me knowing that there will likely be something in place for retirees over time. But again, I don't want to rely on it, because that example that I gave earlier of the 1,500 and the 2,000, right? That is very, very common. I, as an investment advisory representative, I was helping people plan for retirement. I was helping people create their retirement incomes. And in doing so, something we always had to plan for was Social Security. And you see all these people's Social Security estimates, and you see that Social Security is just not that much. It's not enough to live on, especially based on the amount of money that you expect to bring in from your work towards the end of your working life. It is not going to be enough. And the fact that it's not going to be enough leads me to the exact same conclusion as did the conversation that we had yesterday on pensions. And that conclusion is that you have to take it into your own hands. You have to take control of your own retirement life. You have to take control of the retirement income that you can bring in for yourself. Because if you don't, and if we get to a point where Social Security is not around, then you're up a creek without a paddle. And even if Social Security is around and that's all that you have, it's not going to be much. It's not going to be a comfortable retirement. It's not going to be a fun retirement to be in if you are just living on Social Security. It's just not going to be the type of retirement life that you or I or anyone else would like to live. Okay? We need to be saving for ourselves. We need to be investing for ourselves, and then allow the Social Security to be icing on the cake. Just like I said with the pension, allow the pension to be icing on the cake. And just think about this. If you create, let's say, a $2 million nest egg for yourself, okay? And you take 4% off of that $2 million nest egg every single year. Okay, that's $80,000. You can take $80,000. Let's say that's what it takes for you to live, okay? And so you take 4% off every single year, and then you receive a pension. Let's say the pension is $1,200, and then let's say Social Security was $1,800. Okay, that's an extra $3,000 a month. Multiply that out. Right, that's an extra $36,000 per year on top of the $80,000 that you're pulling off of your nest egg. Well, let's say you don't need all that income. Well, then what would you do? You would just decrease your nest egg withdrawals by the amount that you don't need. So let's say you could leave an extra 20 in your nest egg, allow it to grow, okay, allow it to compound over time, and then you would have more money sitting in that nest egg when you passed away that you can leave to your children, to your grandchildren, to your spouse, to any number of people that you would like to leave that to, okay? But any pension or any Social Security benefit is only going to be able to be left to your spouse in the vast majority of cases. Okay, so I want you to be able to have money that you are in control of, that you can leave behind to build generational wealth, because I don't want financial freedom to just stop with you. Okay, I don't want the idea of being financially free and having your finances in order and being able to have money to retire on and have money to live over time. I don't want that to stop with you. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you have to leave your children every single thing, right? But we should be raising our children in a way where we teach them how to manage money properly. We show them how to manage money properly. And then when we pass away, eventually, we can leave an inheritance to our children and our children's children. And we cannot feel bad about that. And we cannot feel like our children won't manage the money correctly, we won't have to regret that if we teach them correctly on the front end, right? A lot of people say, well, I don't want to spoil my kids. Well, you only spoil kids who don't know how to manage money properly. And you only spoil kids who don't know how money works and how they should be doing what with their money, okay? So it's not absolute rocket science. It's just teaching your kids financial literacy. It's being financially literate yourself, taking your retirement into your own hands, and being able to build something for yourself that nobody before you has built and been able to, pass down to you. So I want you guys to be able to build something for yourselves. I want you guys to have a good retirement, and part of having a good retirement is taking it into your own hands. Okay. And if we get Social Security benefits, great. All right. I am all for getting an extra $1,500 a month or $2,000 a month or whatever it's going to be, right? I'm all for that. Right. But if it doesn't come, I don't want to be looking around for another handout. I don't want to be looking around for somebody else to help pick me up and fund my retirement, fund what I want to do. I want to fund what I want to do. I want to know that I have put in these years of hard work, these years of saving and investing to be able to fund the retirement that I always wanted to live. And we can take a little pride in that and really enjoy the fact that we have done something that is good for ourselves and our family, and we have been good managers of what God has given us, and I think that's absolutely great. But again, you receive Social Security, even more fun, right? What can you do with an extra $1,500 or $2,000 a month? I would say quite a bit.